All right. Hello, everybody. Uh, Today we're going to go over our Japan map exercise answers, the labels that you wrote on your Japan map exercise. Ordinarily, we would probably do this in class together. We would have everything broadcast up on our screen. But for this particular instance of this, the screen is broken and it's going to have to be replaced. So I still want to do it. We can't broadcast it on the big screen. We're going to have to watch it on the little screen. As we're going over our Japan map exercise labels, I would like for you to have your Japan map exercise out. You guys did a very, very good job uh, on your maps. You did an excellent job. But I would like for you to have them out, kind of look at your map as we're looking at these slides, and I'll just share a little bit of information about each of these as we go along. Okay, we started on map A, having to color and label some countries. And so the first one, obviously, the primary country on this map would be Japan. It is made up of five very large island or island groups, and we'll have more to say about those on map B and in our fib notes later on. The next country that we needed to label on map A is China. Now, we just finished our unit on China, and China is obviously very close to Japan. This is the little small section of China that we can see on our map. Okay. And that would probably relate pretty closely to the region known as Northeast China or Manchuria. All right, next we have Russia. Now, Russia is an enormous, vast country that stretches from Eastern Europe all the way across Asia and stretches all the way over to the Pacific Ocean. And we actually see this part of Russia, which is very, very close to the islands of Japan. So, Japan and Russia are actually neighbors. You might not have known that. Next, we have the two Koreas. South Korea, that's where you get your Kia and Hyundai cars, what is it, BTS, boy bands. Those all come from South Korea. Then we have North Korea. That's where you find evil dictator Kim Jong Un and a lot of hunger and despair. So those are the five countries on our map. And we needed to label those on map A. Guys, you're going to be quizzed and tested over these five countries. Next, we had a few other items that we wanted to label on map A. First of all, the Japanese Alps. That is the big mountain range in Japan. It's the only mountain range you need to know. It should be a pretty easy one for you to remember. The Japanese Alps on this map are represented by the triangle shapes that you see there. Also, we have the Kanto Plain, and probably when I was grading your map exercise, I kind of was a little inconsistent on this one. I am certain that many of you labeled the Kanto Plain. I know that some of you missed the Kanto Plain. I probably didn't count off if you didn't label the Kanto Plain, but I would like for you to make sure that you put that label on your map. So go ahead, double check that label. You can hear my dog is losing her mind. Go ahead and label the Kanto Plain on your map if you have not already done so. All right, next, what are we looking at here? We've got some bodies of water. First, we have the Sea of Japan. This is the body of water between the Korean Peninsula and the islands of Japan. Okay. Pacific Ocean, anywhere on the right side of our map. Okay, I'm going to yell at her. Zelda, knock it off. My dog's name is Zelda. She's crazy. She's old, set in her ways. She's kind of cranky. She's going blind, you know. I don't like to yell. She's messing up my video. Next, we have the Korea Strait, which is represented by these lines here. It's that narrow channel of water that separates South Korea from those islands of Japan. Remember, a strait is a narrow channel of water between two larger land masses. Uh, North of Japan, we have the Sea of Okhotsk. Okay. Here's another one that, well, actually, let's go back to the Sea of Okhotsk. I'm not sure why. I had a lot of people that forgot to label the Sea of Okhotsk. I asked them to go back and do it. They were able to get that done. The same thing with the Tsugaru Strait. The Tsugaru Strait is this narrow body of water that separates the island of Hokkaido and Honshu. A lot of kids left that one off, and I asked you to put that back in. So double check, make sure you've got the Sea of Okhotsk and the Tsugaru Strait. A lot of seventh graders look at that name, Tsugaru, and they call it the T Sugar U Strait for some reason. Tsugaru is my best guess. I have no idea how it's pronounced. So I think it's probably Tsugaru. T Sugar U would work though. Next, we have the Inland Sea, which is represented by this little red line right there. A very important water in Japan, although it's obviously one of the smaller ones on our map. Okay, the very famous Inland Sea. All right, now we're shifting over to map B. So go ahead and turn over to your map B. On map B, we had to label the islands of Japan. So there were 5 major island or island groups. The first one is Kyushu. Okay, it's an unusual name. It's pronounced Kyushu. Next, we have Little Shikoku. It's just so tiny and cute. I want one. Shikoku. Honshu is the big island. Okay, that's the biggest of our 5 Japanese islands. And then way up to the north, we've got the island of Hokkaido. Hokkaido. And then finally, all these little islands that go trailing down to the south, those are the Ryukyu Islands. Okay, Ryukyu Islands. All right, some other things that we needed to label on map B, and we'll just kind of start in the north and work our way south. On the island of Hokkaido is a very important city called Sapporo. Continuing south, you see the little arrow that's got the label 2011 tsunami. In 2011, the island of Honshu was hit by a very, very powerful tsunami that caused a massive amount of destruction. And we'll talk more about that when we work on our Chapter 18, Section 1 notes. Next, as we work our way down, we have the capital city of Tokyo. We saw Tokyo in the Japan Experience video that we watched. Some of us watched before the screen broke. Very close to Tokyo, you see that triangle shape. That is Mount Fuji or Mount Fujiyama. It is the highest point in Japan. A very, very famous mountain. We'll have more to say about Mount Fuji. A couple other cities on the island of Honshu. We have the city of Kyoto, and then just south of that, we have the city of Osaka. And it's really easy to get those confused with each other. So make sure you can remember which one is which. I always kind of think of it Kyoto at the top, that's a K. Osaka at the bottom, that's a O. K O. That's like a knockout, right? So maybe that helps you. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you think of your own way to keep those two separated. A lot of kids get them confused. All right, 2 other cities, cities that some of you have no doubt heard of. The first one, also on the island of Honshu, is Hiroshima. Okay, Hiroshima is the site of the first atomic bombing during World War II. We'll have more to say about that particular event later on in our unit. And then on the island of Kyushu is the city of Nagasaki, which also had an atomic bomb dropped on that city. In the video that some of you were able to watch, we actually got to see and hear a little bit about what happened during that particular time. Again, we'll have more to say about that in our notes. Guys, these are your map locations. Again, these are the locations you're going to need to know for your quiz. These are the locations that are going to be on your test. Not horribly difficult. Please make sure you're studying. We're going to have our first quiz on Friday. All right, after this, you can move on to the video where you can watch your notes. All right.